Ladies and gentlemen, the So What Morning Show is back in the building with another heater, another hot topic. Oh, I'm excited today. There's so much going on, so many people in the building buzzing around like a beehive. It's crazy right now. You know what I'm going to do, though? I got to tell you to go get some books, and I got to tell you to go support some businesses. It's very important that we do this. Let's share the wealth. Let's spread the wealth among all of our people, everybody that's listening. You know, somebody hit me up and said, yo, man, I don't know how to get in contact with you in order to, promote my business. Well, if you want to promote your business, and my whole thing is to use this platform to build up our community, all races, all creeds, all colors, but especially the brothers and sisters who never recycle their money. Mm-hmm. So it's important that I say, hey, man, go support, somebody in your community, some business in your community. How I do that is I bring on special people to talk about their business. So do me this. Email me at 2319 Z as in zebra, O as in Oscar, 1 at gmail.com. 2319zo1 at gmail.com. Send me your business request. I'll read it, check it out. And if it's the flyness, I'll support it, right?
All right.
So really quickly, books, please. For everybody who supported me on this, I appreciate you. This is my book, The Rebirth of Seeds. You can find it on my website, IamZoeWilliams.com. That's IamZoeWilliams, Z-O, not Zoe. That's something else. IamZoeWilliams.com. Please continue to support. Thank you all for all the people who have supported in the past. I appreciate you. Thank you very, very, very much. And of course, my good friend, Dr. Mark Goulston. Continue to support his array of books. I mean, this is just listen. That's one book. He also has a book on persuasion. He has a book on getting out of your own way. I mean, he has a book on the 6 tips about relationship. He has a lot of good stuff. Please support Dr. Mark Goulston and all of his endeavors as well. And I have a particular book that I think you guys, that will fit today's topic. A very good book. It's called Spank Your Child, Please. A book about children by former child Patrick Thompson. Yes. And he's talking about, we have to look at this thing. I want to, I'll get into this later when I talk about today's topic. But let me move on quickly because we got people in the building. Really quickly, our show is being catered today by what I'm told is the ambrosia of Mexican cuisine.
Nice.
Right? Help me pronounce it.
Provecho.
Provecho Grill. She drove far. She drove from West Hell to get here.
Otherwise known as Sun City, Menifee, California.
Otherwise known as Sun City. Please tell us about your grill. My friend swears by it. Provecho Grill. Talk to us, Rosie.
Well, Provecho's means bon appetit. We say it all the time. It has a good meaning to it. Anywhere in Latin America, it's going to be a good thing. And I wanted to bring a good vibe to Sun City.
Wow.
Sun City used to be where everybody went to retire, and now it's Menifee. So we have a lot of young people moving in. Average income now is 55. So things are changing.
Wow.
Along with that, I had the opportunity to buy a restaurant there, and we decided, all right, let's do Provecho Grill. Let's get some regional Mexican food, make it fresh.
Right.
Let's give everyone fresh, good quality Mexican food without breaking the bank.
Wow.
Let's make sure that they have certified Angus beef, great, fresh seafood. I give them lots of love and attention without breaking the bank. And that's exactly what we do. It's family run, and there's a lot of love there.
And I hear that you are a stickler for your dishes. If it ain't right, you not happy about it. I hear it's incredible. My homeboy swears by it. I said, well, geez, we gonna have to try it. And she came all the way out here. We so appreciate you. Where can they find you? Do you guys have a website? Or
yes, we do.
What is the website? Can we put it up on the screen?
Yep. It's www.provechogrill.com.
Provecho.
Provecho.
You don't know how to spell? Provecho, right?
Grill.
Grill.com.
GRILL.
My engineer, Baby Teen Wolf, is looking like, what? Typo. We call him Baby Teen Wolf because he's really young with a full Kenny Loggins beard.
Nice.
So, Dan Haggerty style.
Work
Baby
it,
Teen
Kenny.
Wolf.
All right.
There's the grill. Look at, geez,
Yeah.
Louise.
So you guys will be having the chile hueritos right in the middle, right there, next to our Provecho burger. The pambazos from Mexico City. We tend to focus on other regions. It's not all tacos and burritos.
Wow.
We want to get away from that Baja feel because since we're in California, you kind of start getting used to, San Felipe, TJ, Ensenada. Well, they have Guanajuato, which is the Latin Paris of Mexico. There's Mexico City, and it's just wonderful. That's like literally the equivalent of New York in Mexico. I mean, it's go, 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 grab and go. So you have sopes, huaraches, all that good stuff. We focus on a vegetarian menu. We focus, we have a nice following of vegans. I mean, that's
It's going to be crazy. We so appreciate you coming, Rosie. Thank you.
We don't have a walk-in, so we cook literally day and night.
Wow.
Make it fresh. So we don't
I'm so blown away right now. Look, they're going to be eating later on today. They're excited too.
Y'all smell that?
Right. Then we got another brother in the building. His name is Reggie. Reggie, what's your business? What do you do? And where can they find you right now?
Well, what's going on, folks? My name is Reggie Simon of SimonVisionMedia.com.
And I've known this dude for many, many years, by the way. He was one of the first, way back in the MySpace days, he was one of the first supporters of the Voice of Reason on Foxhole Radio. This dude supported us, man. Talk to us.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. SimonVisionMedia.com, videographer, editor. We film weddings, special events, private events.
Oh, there's your website. There you go.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate it. Private events, music videos, sports functions.
He edited one of the first video edits of my show. He created this visual effect. It was crazy. I was like, out of the blue, he reached out and said, man, I created a video for your promo. Out of the blue, and it was awesome, and we played it too, right?
I appreciate it, for sure.
Man, I just love the fact that I can reach out and help people do what they do. Tell us one more time where they can see you, where they can find you, and connect to your business.
That's right, folks. That's SimonVisionMedia.com, and all the information is there for you, including email, phone numbers, all that good stuff.
And you do weddings too, right?
We do weddings, absolutely.
Bar mitzvahs?
Bar mitzvahs. Haven't done a bar mitzvah yet.
But you would.
But I will, and I would. Absolutely. And as far as pricing is concerned, we don't have a pricing structure because there's a lot of people that just like to get married, just their mom, their dad, the pastor,
So you're flexible to whatever budget.
Absolutely. We don't stick anybody in any particular, bracket.
Right.
If you got the budget, we'll work it out.
Right. So what if, listen, I only got $90 on me. Can you just take care of the whole wedding, get down?
Yeah. Can you give me a call back? I'm
gonna need. We need 37 looks though. I want to change clothes on it, but I only got $90
with a gang of effects.
Right.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to pass on that.
I got the hookup, right? Yeah. No, man, but we appreciate you coming in studio to support your business. One more time, what's the name of the business?
SimonVisionMedia.com. I know it's a little wordy, but couldn't do productions. Reminds me of Funky Finger Productions.
Hell yeah.
So SimonVisionMedia.com. Check it out, folks.
I appreciate you, brother, for coming in. And Rosie,
thank you.
Provecho Grill in Sun City. If you don't go there, you're not worth anything. Your life is a failure. No, you know how I like to do. Now, I have to move on to my next piece that I'm going to promote. But let me say, I've been promoting this for a few weeks now. And I'm really disappointed. So disappointed that I'm about to make a video, a whole entire show centered around group economics, right? I talk about how we will kill ourselves to support other cultures that don't support your culture.
All day.
You understand? Like, the brother who has the T-shirts out of New York, right? I tell people, his shirts are $100. Well, Gucci sells shirts for $700, right? Louis Vuitton sells T-shirts for $1,000, right? Or Versace sells a $500 or $600 T-shirt, and we complain about stuff. Let me just say, a pair of Jordans are going to wear out. but the Black Mastery program will last you for the same amount of money the rest of your life. It'll change your life.
True.
So I'm tired of promoting things that people are always making excuses about supporting because of the price. This is why I say black people spend the most money, but at the same time are the cheapest people on planet Earth. So if I can't urge you to go support Black Mastery, I want you to do this. Remember, I have a video to play on Black Mastery, but I want you to reach out and support the sister Veronica Conway, blackmastery.com. It is very important that you get this life-changing, evolutionary, enhancing tool for your life. I want you to support her, only not for you, not for her, right? But for the sake of the future, because if we continue to give birth to these dead ideas and dead concepts, we're going to always lose. So we have a video that we want to promote, but before I tell you to promote it, remember this. Anybody who signs up for Black Mastery gets a free coaching eval session with her. She's one of the best coaches in the world. This is $1,000 get down for the time she's spending with you for free. Black Mastery, check this video out right now.
And one of the greatest tragedies in life is getting to the end of your life and looking back and realizing it was mediocre, and it didn't have to be that way. The number one reason is people are unwilling to listen and care about what's important to the other person. But what if you could be someone who dared to care about everybody in your life? When you're in love, smoke gets in your eyes. But when you're anxious, you talk more than you listen. I asked my wife a month ago, I said, I don't know whether to have an affair or buy a motorcycle. And she said, if you have an affair, I'll kill you. If you get the motorcycle, you'll kill yourself. Go with the bike. Oh, God.
We love your intro. It's just the best.
I love that music. Just straight out of the Catskills, which I think they've blown up 20 years ago.
Smooth Corinthian leather. Yeah.
Dr. G, your tools, please.
Well, there's a great website, alternate.org. This is kind of an alternative Huffington Post. I mean, it just says it the way it is. And a couple days ago, I put up this blog, 12 hints it's time to call it quits in your relationship, and it's one of the most popular blogs there in the last few days. You can see there's 1,100 likes. So let me read these to you. This is kind of like from a kvetchy wife from the Catskills.
Gotcha.
12 hints it's time to call it quits in your relationship. You can't stand the sight of them and they make your skin crawl.
Right.
You're afraid of them.
Yeah.
Friends keep telling you to get out.
Go.
They are mean to the children. The children are afraid of them. You can't remember anything good about them. You no longer enjoy anything with them or look forward to doing anything with them. They come in the door and your heart sinks. You don't want to go out with them, with friends or family, because they're just too embarrassing to you. They keep making promises they don't keep. You're no longer proud of them. And these little quirks you thought were amusing at the beginning are now embarrassing to you. Here's a bonus hint. They keep violating the restraining order you put on them. So here's the good and bad news. The good news is if this list applies to you, you're not alone. If this applies to your relationship, there are probably people who would want to help you make the break when you decide to do it.
Wow.
The bad news for you, if any of the list applies, it is probably not going to get any better by itself. The bad news for me is my wife came up with a list.
Here we go.
But the list could also, this may sound like it's about a woman complaining about a man. I'd say a man could complain about this, except the difference is the first one, because women might think, oh, you can't stand the sight of them and they make your skin crawl. But I think what a man would say is, she makes me feel like running head on and putting my head through the wall. You know, when a woman drives you crazy or you feel like exploding. But Jeff Brown has something. If a woman would you just nuts in your head, what would it make you feel like doing?
What would it make me feel like doing? I don't know. Wow.
That's hilarious.
Because you actually have described
Kim?
no, Jackie. No,
Jackie?
No, not Kim. Kim, we were just too young. We just a couple of dumbass kids. We didn't have cam girl.
So Jackie had it worse. Jackie had it worse. What would you make you feel like doing in your head? What was going on in your head?
My prayers changed. Like I'd be driving down the road going, "Oh,
My prayers
dear God, please let a sniper shoot right in the car. I don't care who he hits. Either one. Where's the sniper? Where is the sniper? I want to drive."
You prayed for a sniper?
Oh my God! I used to drive around the neighborhood till the lights went out, dude. I was not. Oh my God! That bitch is still up. She is still up.
The lights is still on.
Oh my God!
So take me out of my misery. I don't care if it's me or her. Just take me out of my misery.
You know what? I'm just gonna pull a pin on a grenade. I'm just gonna pull a pin. I just couldn't take it, man. I could not take it. I think when you get to the point that nothing you do makes a person happy, that actually makes you free. That's what I told you. You freed me. Nothing I do make you happy, so fuck it. I'm going to do what I want to do.
I'm going to do whatever now.
I'm going to do whatever. Drawers or walk around my drawers in front of your parents. Whatever.
So what made you finally quit? What made you finally stop it?
When me and my brother, because my brother, I hope I don't incriminate him, I told him I'm looking for a place with very few witnesses. We're going to do some Sopranos type shit. When I started actually plotting her death, I was actually, like, when I would see, you know how you drive through the woods and you see serenity? I see spots. I see, man, that's a clearing right there. I can bring a shovel and some plastic out here and get to work. And I was like, yeah, we got to stop. We got to stop. Because I'm going to wind up playing dominoes with Scott Peterson. So,
oh, Jesus. All right, so here we go. As is commonplace, Dr. G sets it up with the tips, right? Mm-hmm. One of those tips was very important as it pertains to the subject of today's show. If they're mean to the kids.
I don't know about 4 and 5, yeah.
Today's topic is sparing the rod, right? Really spoiling the child. An in-depth look at discipline, child rearing, and child abuse, right? There are a lot of people out there who honestly believe getting my ass whooped made me a better person. Who believes that? Somebody call us right now. 855-878-4652. That's the number to dial.
No, real quick. There's a difference between consequences and punishment.
Wow.
Consequences teach your kid a lesson.
Here we go.
Whereas punishment teaches them a lesson they'll never forget. Which is to get even with you when they grow up. Ooh. So you got to think of the consequences, and the point is you're wanting them to learn to not do what they just did. But if you do that by abusing them, it's a little bit overkill, and it may come back to haunt them or haunt you.
If you've ever been spanked with braided switches before, woo-hoo, somebody call us at 855-878-4652. Did it make you better? A lot of people believe, is it a cultural thing? You know, we believe white people don't whoop ass the way black folk whoop ass, right? There's something different there, right? I don't know. Somebody call us at 855-878-4652. My big mama used to whoop me with something called Dr. Green. Don't make me go get Dr. Green.
Oh, yours had a name?
Yeah, mine had a name, Dr. Green.
Okay.
Right? I don't know if whooping helped me at all.
Well, I'm sure it did help me.
I don't know. But again, when is too far? When are you crossing the line? Should you whoop your child out of anger?
Never.
How many parents whoop out of anger, out of frustration, and they just lose it? Dr. G brings up a great point when he's breaking down the mother and her desire to want to nurture, and then when you put her in a position to be the bad cop, the disciplinarian, she doesn't take too well to that, does she, Doc? She doesn't want to go against her nurturing ways, right? She doesn't want to spank ass.
I think it's different in the black and white community.
Yeah. Well, let's hear it, Doc.
I think too often in the white community, they want to be friends with their kids. I think in the black community, they want to prepare them for a tough world. Let me give you an example. A friend of mine used to be the head of Teach for America, Los Angeles, and they were having a problem having these largely white college undergraduates were being dismissed by these inner city black kids. These inner city black kids thought these white undergraduates who graduate were just do-gooder fools. And my friend Lee Cantor, he said, you got to get into the listening. And he thought, what does an inner city black kid listen to? He listens to his mother. And he realized that the difference between these white undergraduate coming back to do good he said, here's the difference. When that undergraduate was 7 years old, the age of these elementary school kids, and it was time for bath, their mother said, it's time for your bath. Whereas when a 7-year-old black kid, it was time for the bath, what the mother said is, get your black butt in the tub.
Get your black ass in that tub. That's what you wanted to say.
And the point is, that was not abusive. That was loving. What they were saying is, I'm going to prepare you for what the world's going to tell you when you grow up. And if you pull a gun each time, you're going to be dead real young. So that was a way of showing loving by that black mom.
Wow.
And so what he did is he started coaching these white college graduates. Instead of saying, it's time for math, he'd say, hey, Ivan, yeah, you in the back thing. Page 58, do that problem, do it now. And what happened is these whitey locks undergraduates would say, but that's racist, that's condescending. And what he would say is, no, that's loving.
That's how their mothers talk.
That is loving, that is caring. And what happened is they started doing it, and they started getting, responses, and they started getting respected. It was kind of interesting. But Jeff is going to just rip us to shreds.
I see you.
No, I ain't gonna rip
Go ahead, Jeff, please.
Rip me to shreds.
You're right.
Being a token white man on this show is not easy.
Young white children.
Can you, let's do it. Let me do it. You the black kid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the white doctor or the white teacher trying to talk like your mama. Jeff, do that damn problem. Get it right. Can you imagine me doing that?
I'm going to try to get this right. Fuck you talking to?
Yes, exactly. Hey, you do what I tell you. Watch your damn mouth and get that damn homework done.
Bitch, I'm calling my mama.
Exactly.
You want some shit? Oh, you want to talk like that? We finna see some shit in 45 minutes. I got a phone right here. Call my mama.
That's hilarious.
Yes.
Wait, no, but is it better to say, Jeffrey, would you, it's time for math. Could you please wake up and look at the page?
Damn, you did white people good.
Wow.
That's a beautiful white chick.
Actually,
right
the next time you do white people, just don't do nothing, and you got it. Okay.
Don't try to do white.
Don't even try to
you're
do
already white.
Wow, so much.
It's a rant. We're ahead of time.
There's an army of words just trying to get out.
Make the point.
Yeah, that'll
Get
help.
to the point there, Jeff.
The point is that white kids at 7 are being prepared for the world. Black kids at 7 are being prepared for white people in the world.
Ooh,
okay.
Being prepared to survive.
You're being prepared to. You're being prepared. Yes, you're being prepared to thrive. Black children are being prepared to survive.
Wow.
Now,
here we go. Say it. Go ahead.
Oh, something's hot in the background.
You know that's the big pill.
We're going to break there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I believe that spankings work. I know spankings work. Mine are formal. When I give my kids a spanking, you don't get none of that surprise kamikaze shit I used to get. In the bathtub, get woke up in the middle of the night, none of that. You have to earn an ass whooping in my house. There are steps. Defiance, willful disobedience, lying, and whatever form that comes in. Not for accidents. If you accidentally, I probably want to say this for after the break.
Okay, for after the break.
Dope for
well,
you
then this is what we'll do.
Save
We're
it
going
for
to take
after
a quick
the
break, and when we come back, you can chime in too. Is it spoiling the child if you don't lend them a little rod every now and again? 855-878-4652. We'll be back at 2.2. Holla.
You 13, ho. You want to be a woman? Put it on Facebook, let them know, bitch. Video that hustle noise. Ain't no okay, man. Now you sad because you know you ain't grown, bitch. Like your mama, get your motherfucking ass here.
Okay, that was a family beating going down. Mom in the background cussing. Mm-hmm. Dad pulling his daughter's hair. I guess that's dad or stepdad.
Somebody had a handful of weed.
She 13, want to be grown.
Okay.
And this is a grown ass whooping getting
that
handed
ass
down.
toe up.
I'm saying, how does that make a person better?
Okay.
Do you have an idea?
I don't know how that does because that doesn't resemble anything that I do.
What was that family whooping that girl's ass out of anger, out of frustration?
Some but okay.
Is that whooping gonna make that girl better, Jeff? Right now?
Do I think that whooping is gonna make that girl
Yes.
better? In not enough ways. Like in the ways that it makes it worse outweigh the ways that it make it better.
Does that whooping make that girl a future abuser? Is that abuse?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's like saying, should you not use a knife because I stabbed my uncle with a knife? A knife
more
is still
knives
anymore. No more knives. No. Okay? This is the way spankings work in my house. Let's just say you throwing a ball in the house and you knock over a very expensive vase and you break it.
Right.
That's a mistake. Okay, especially if we haven't covered that. Don't throw a ball in the house. You throw a ball, you knock it over. I'm explaining to you that that's very expensive. This is why you shouldn't throw a ball in the house. Now, part of your allowance until it's paid for will go back to pay for that vase, and you're going to clean up your mess.
Right.
That's not a spanking. You don't get a spanking for that. However, if there are 100 jelly beans in this bowl, and I say don't touch these jelly beans, and I come back and there's 98 jelly beans in this bowl, somebody gonna get their ass whooped over 2 jelly beans. Because that is defiance.
White doctor, can you correct our black parenting
You go at
skills?
that how you want to.
I love it.
That's how I tear your ass up at the house. And let me put another little disclaimer out. I don't give a shit what no white folks say today. If my kids get hold of this, you know I'm gonna tear your ass up still. If I
Dr. Goulston, help us from the abusive black father.
Yeah. I don't think that's abusive.
I hate to say this because it's tough to see a black man blush, but that was brilliant, Jeff.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
No, really. I think that distinction. I think it was when it's a mistake versus defiance. I think that ups the ante, and I think the key, though, when we saw that video is weigh in on this. That do you want? There's a difference between respecting authority versus being afraid of it. Or do you think there's no distinction?
I think there's a definite distinction, but I think the respect of authority comes with your own particular acknowledgement, your own particular intelligence, your own particular gathering of information. I think that fear of authority is wonderful, especially for a boy. Okay, there are a ton of times. I know, of course not. Of course you don't. But I can remember growing up in Chicago that there was a bunch of stuff that cats I knew got in trouble about, went to do, that my father, my uncles, nobody was around. Nobody would have caught me. Nobody could have known. But in the back of my head, if I get caught with this shit, I got to deal with that fool at the house, and I don't want to deal. Let me say this, I'm done. My stepfather, not the man who raised me, the man my mother married, told me this when we moved into his house. He said, okay, you 16. You can smoke weed in here. You can bring girls in here. You can disrespect your mama in here. You can put your feet on the furniture in here. You can steal my car. But if you do any of that shit I just said, you will feel the full weight of my wrath. Now you do what you want to do. And I learned to respect his authority, and part of it was some of the shit I feared.
I think what you're saying, respect and fear is a slippery slope.
Let me ask you something. Do you think kids down deep, they don't think it consciously, do you think a kid can tell when that parent disciplining him is over the top? Do you think inside can you feel when there's one thing if it's justifiable thing?
No.
You don't think you can tell the difference?
No.
Yeah, you can.
Ask my son Blake. All spankings is over the top. He don't want no spankings, but he get them.
No, but I think a kid can feel when the parent that's putting the whooping down is a little off.
Or is being when
you understand?
When
like it's abusive. Like, hey, okay. I think kids can feel that, and I think kids can also feel when you have a little off, and then you have a little soft.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because kids play defense too. Like, I can get over on my. So they believe me, they're sensitive to when you're soft versus when you're off.
Who to play?
Right. Because when you're off, anything could trigger off.
Right.
So there's always that eggshell feeling when you're dealing with a parent that's off versus one that's soft. That's a good point. We got a doctor on the phone, better than the doctor in the building.
Wow.
Yes, I have to challenge
I got to raise my bar.
You have to raise your bar. Yes, we have a doctor on the line right now that's going to help us. Somebody that's going to battle Dr. G. No, I'm just kidding. They're not going to battle.
Is it a rap battle?
No, it's not a rap battle.
Get to the doctor.
No, but we have a great doctor on the line that's going to talk to us about tips on disciplining the child, what's abusive, what isn't abusive, and the difference in cultural, disciplining, because it's cultural is different.
Here we go.
They're on the line right now. Dr. John Mayer, no longer a singer, But now,
dude,
no longer a singer. Put
Gravity
the guitar
is
down.
my song.
Right? He's an author, clinician, lecturer, and consultant. He's going to talk to us about this. Dr. John Mayer, don't sing your advice. Just tell us what to do.
Sorry about Jennifer
I'm ready to
Aniston.
sing fathers and daughters here on this show.
Right?
You know.
That's what you should have done, right?
Get the hell away from me.
Well, welcome to the show. Talk to us about this controversial
thing. Don't say I won't fight with Dr. Goldstein. There's some things that you guys have been saying that I take a lot of issue with here. We might do a little battling here, which is okay.
That's all right.
That helps the public kind of filter out what they want to use and apply. So,
right. Well, talk to us.
Away. What do you guys want to know?
True or false? Is spanking really a form of domestic violence, family abuse? True or false? Go deeper.
Yes, true.
Why? How so?
Come on. It's a violent act. No matter. I was listening to Jeff there and how he spanks his child, and Dr. Goldstein popped in and said, "Yeah, you make a lot of sense." Well, I disagree.
He disagrees,
I think,
Jeff. You're
That's cool.
abusive.
He doesn't think you're brilliant.
No, that's cool.
No. Wait, I'm not saying he's abusive. What I'm saying is that that it's sure that's a violent act. You strike somebody, that's a violent act. I mean, it might be minor, it might be in the context of you trying to teach your child, but it's a violent act, guys. And Jeff, I think you're from Chicago, right? You grew up in Chicago?
Yes, sir. South Side.
South Side, 59th and Justine. I grew up.
Okay, all right. You know it.
It's called Englewood now. D.
Watch
Rose
this.
Grew up in the same neighborhood.
Watch this. Justine Laughlin, Ashland, Hermitage, Wood, Honorary, Walcott, Winchester, Damon. I was like 8 blocks from you. How old are you? I might have whooped your ass. Who are you?
Jeff, now damn it. He's from your town. Now leave it alone.
That's all right. What's up? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Not even from his town. I'm from his hood.
You're
Wow.
round the way. Yeah.
Okay, so let him finish his point.
Yeah, it's violence, guys. And we got to accept that. I mean, and Jeff, quite honestly, when you're resorting to spanking your child, you've lost power, man.
Okay.
How so?
Power.
Give us an example. Say more to that.
It's being a powerful parent. Being a powerful parent, I don't have to spank my kid. One of the examples I give parents all the time, there's a couple of good ones I got. One of them, which people relate to, is that, you don't see LeBron walking down the street and people wanting to pick a fight with him and challenge him. Why? Because he's a powerful man. Man, that's LeBron. I ain't got a good challenge LeBron. I ain't gonna mess with that. And as a parent, that's the aura. That's the respect you want to have in your family. I don't have to be fighting with you to get you to do what I want or to give you some consequences, like that jelly bean story. And this is where I disagree, where Goldstein popped in and said, I can see that. I go along with that. If I'm spanking my kids for 2 jelly beans, there is something wrong here.
But
I got this done.
Okay, so hold on a second, Doc. Hold on a second.
Ways in which go ahead.
Hold on, because Jeff Brown and Dr. Goulston are biting at the chomp to respond.
I have
Jeff?
I have no problem with what you're saying, Doc. But I'm gonna make an assumption here that you are not black, right?
We just saw the picture.
Yeah, I didn't see the picture. So as much as I respect where you went to school and your opinion, there's nothing you can tell me about raising a black son on American soil. For me, our experiences were different growing up, obviously, okay?
Right.
There are some things that were it not for the spankings I received, that I literally would not be sitting here talking to you. I am telling you that spankings work. And if you have sons, if you have a son or a daughter that has ever verbally disrespected you or raised their voice to you, then you and I are on 2 different roads, because that doesn't happen with me. More than, as you tell me how you parent, it sounds like you do a lot of evaluation of behavior and a lot of dealing with certain highbrow concept with individuals who don't have highbrows. Okay, I don't do that. Okay, it sounds like you may run a democracy in your house. I run a benevolent dictatorship. It's a little different.
Oh, I agree, Jeff. I'm in totally agreement.
So I
believe in tough love.
Question,
I believe in consequences.
Absolutely.
In fact, one of the things I write about is I believe consequences should hurt.
Absolutely.
And I don't have a problem with the word punishment. I don't have a problem with that word punishment.
Doc,
what I'm talking about is smacking somebody.
Okay, me too. I don't believe in smacking nobody. I don't believe unless you say something foul about my wife, I smack you right in your mouth. I don't care.
Even
who you
a child?
No, not a child. I'm talking about we at a bar. You say something foul, I'm put these doorknobs on you. That's different.
Right.
What I'm saying is
doorknobs, Jeff?
Yeah, doorknobs. That's what I call these right here. Bang, bang. Put these doorknobs right on. They hard and they accurate. Pap, pap. Okay. Doc, how old are your children?
My children are adults now. I got a 26 and a 28-year-old.
26 and a 28-year-old.
And you never had to whoop them.
Okay, no, apparently not, which is perfect. So let's go back 20 years. Did you ever give out a mandate that was met with loud verbal disrespect ever?
No.
Never. So your children
I gave out a mandate, but they knew better. They knew better, my friend, than to give me some lift back.
That's fantastic, Doc, and you need to get some footage of you and your children and put it on television, because I've never, ever seen that with people who don't spank their kids, that their kids don't have something to fear. I hate you! This is bullshit! This is my room, and you invade my privacy!
I've got that, my friend.
Do the white kid, Jeff. Do the white kid.
Bullshit! I've got rights! I've got, you know what? There was a little white kid. I'm going to say this for the next break. I'm going to say this for the next segment. You need to hear about Matthew, the little white boy that spent the night at my house with my grandmama and what happened that night. Yeah.
So listen, everybody, we got to take a quick break. But on the way out, how many of you, right, felt that your parents spanked you out of love or out of frustration and anger? Because you can see when it's coming from love, or you can sense when it's coming from frustration and anger. We talked about it earlier, right? The kind of off parent versus the soft parent. Somebody call in and tell us what you think. 855-878-4652. Sparing the rod is ruining the child. We'll be back in 2.2. Holla!
A new study on the effects of spanking showed that while stopping naughty behavior temporarily, it might make children more likely to engage in future misbehavior and test lower for vocabulary skills. Lead author of the study, Michael J. McKenzie, an associate professor at the Columbia School of Social Work, said, "Spanking does make the kids stop, but the goal is to have kids regulate themselves over time, and in that, spanking fails." Researchers asked over 1,900 parents if they spanked their children between the ages of 3 and 5 years old. Then they tested the children's behavior, aggression levels, and vocabulary skills a few years later, at age 9, by asking them over 50 questions. The results of the study show that 52% of mothers and 33% of fathers admitted to spanking their 5-year-old children. If the mother spanked her children at age 5, they reportedly had lower vocabulary test scores, along with higher rates of aggression and rule-breaking behavior. Lower vocabulary test scores were also associated with fathers spanking their 5-year-old children. What do you think? Does spanking cause children to misbehave later on?
Wow, does whoopings make you dumber?
No. They make you smarter.
It seems like it, according to studies and research.
Okay, fuck them studies and research. Okay, I got my own studies.
You ain't gonna settle down, are you? You turned up today.
The ass and the brain are directly connected.
Okay.
My son, Eric.
That's what the video just said.
Yes.
You whoop the kid, he gets dumber. That's what the video just said.
That ain't the way it works in my house.
You just said the ass and the brain is connected.
I learned my times tables with a switch on the table, and I got them timetables down because I didn't want to deal with that switch. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got to apply it right. You can do anything wrong.
Can you get Alzheimer's from getting an ass whooping? Is ass whoopings like boxing? You know how boxers get a little punch drunk?
Yeah.
That video seemed to imply that.
I've gotten Alzheimer's.
They get more aggressive and they get dumber. Is that what's happening?
No, reverse Alzheimer's I got.
You got smarter.
I forgot why the bullshit I was doing was so important.
Zoe, you made a point before about when you're giving a whooping to someone, if you're doing it out of frustration and anger, that's different than you're doing it because I need to teach you a lesson.
Absolutely.
because I am teaching you a lesson because the world isn't going to give you another chance. So
Right.
I am here to give you kind of a preview of how to conduct yourself. Whereas if it's personal frustration and anger, what happens is it can escalate. And then if the kid escalates and yells back at you, and then it becomes a personal kind of thing, then it's you versus them.
Right.
So I think you can give a punishment. I think you can give a spanking, but you got to do it with a cool head.
Right.
Oh,
That's a good
And with a
example.
purpose.
Absolutely.
And the purpose is you're teaching them a lesson as
It has
opposed
to be a lesson.
as opposed to how dare you talk to your dad that way? You don't talk to anyone that way. I'm going to beat the.
Dr. John, do you agree with any of this malarkey that's being laid down? I don't think you do.
Very little of it, my friend, very little of it. Because, I have a lot of kids that I see, and I'm talking about, and Jeff, I'm talking about, I deal with inner city kids, gangbangers, and,
Yeah, the kids I grew up with.
About, I don't know what a highbrow, what are you talking about there?
My cousins. You talking about my
The kids
cousins
that come
now.
into my office, the kids that come into my office that I help, they will tell you categorically they would much rather take a beating
Absolutely.
from an adult
Then a lecture.
than deal with a lot of the other consequences, which I call more powerful consequences, could be inflicted upon them.
How old are these
kids? They
kids?
don't learn from the beatings. They just kind of, curl up. If you can just picture this, because I'm on the phone. Curl up in a ball and just take the beat, and then it's over. Then I'm going to keep doing what I'm going to do.
So, Dr.
But,
John,
there's so many other ways to be powerful.
Dr. John, this is Zoe Williams here. I want to ask a quick question. Then it's obvious that Jeff disagrees with you, and he could go on. He could go on ad infinitum here. So what I'd like to do is ask you: is there a nonviolent alternative that works just as well as catching that paddle? Remember the paddle?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
give me three tips.
As I said before, it's got to hurt. Too many parents are given, quote, consequences, and, the kid isn't really affected by it. This doesn't hurt the kid. It doesn't take anything away that they're going to miss. So it's just a little tiny slap on the hand. The other thing we got to do, and I know, I don't have all day here, so I'm just going to be real brief, is you got to be in the child's face. So many times, when we don't get kids to do what we want them to do, we're yelling from the other room, hey, turn that off, or take out the garbage, or do this, or do that. And then we get all frustrated because the kid doesn't do it. Well, I wouldn't do it either. But if we're in their face, if we go right up to them, if I stand in front of that TV and say, you are not going to watch this TV because you're punished, that's much more powerful, gentlemen, than a lot of the things we're talking about.
Absolutely.
I don't have to spank my child.
Jesus, the disagreements. Let me tell you a little. I'm gonna make this story extremely fast.
Thank you.
My oldest son.
You can be long-winded.
My oldest son. I finally got my oldest son's mother on the page. Look, call me when you have issues and let me know before you let them know. Let me know what's going on. So she calls me and goes, Eric will not take the trash out. I said, oh, that's easy. So I come out to the house. We bring up the subject. He goes, well, Mom tells me to take the trash out when it's needed. I said, well, that's the problem. You 15. It don't need taken out even when it's overflowing to you. So we're going to change this. You take the trash out every night. He said, well, sometime ain't nothing in it. I said, great. I want you to roll up nothing and take it out. You take the trash out every night. For about 3 weeks, that worked. She told me it stopped. I came out to the house. I said, okay, I'm going to hug everybody. Everybody, good night. They went to bed. The trash was still in the kitchen.
You said this was going to be short.
Here it is.
Thank you.
I went to the kitchen. I went to the kitchen. I took the trash. I went upstairs to his room. I knocked on the door. He's a neat freak. I said, can I come in? He said, yes. I came in.
Oh, wait. I know this story. Hold on one second. Doc, at the conclusion of this story, please tell us if you think it's abusive or not.
Yes.
Go in. Finish.
I went, knocked on his door. He opened it. I came in. I pulled his covers back, and I shook the trash in his bed. And I said, the trash goes out every night. And I turned around and walked away.
You put trash in your son's
smooth
bed?
in my son's bed. Now, guess what happened? The reason
they're gonna be waiting for you after the show. Downstairs,
and
black and white.
They know I'm still nice. I'm still nice. I ain't gonna never not be nice. Okay.
Right.
And do you know why he didn't raise his voice and why he didn't get upset? Because he knew that was a bad idea. Because now we can take this to another level. And I agree with you, there are other methods. But to a certain age, spankings work, and they work well. And I don't think anything about this conversation, because I have empirical evidence that they do, because my cousins...
It's your experience.
My cousins that didn't get it, my friends that didn't get it, in jail, dead, strung out. The dudes that had discipline from men, my friends, I can call them all today, and we're all free, and we're all good men. And there's no way you're going to make me change that coming from Chicago when I did.
Okay, so, Doc, what do you think, man?
Yep.
Dr. Meyer, do you think that?
No, I don't think that's abusive, and that would be right in line with something that I tell parents to do all the time if kids isn't listening.
So throw trash is a good parenting. Hey, that's what I needed.
And look at what we're talking about. He didn't have to smack him or give him a whooping or whatever.
But you're gonna get a parent beat up. Your parent beat up.
Pardon?
You're gonna get this whole buddy system that white people are raising their kids on.
Are you saying white people are using the buddy system?
They're using white people use the buddy system.
Against that.
Yeah, well, these are the people you're talking about with the no spankings. Somebody gonna put trash in the wrong little boy bed and get his ass whooped by his son. See, that's not gonna happen to me, because I whooped my son's ass when they was little, so they know better.
Wow.
And my sons have seen me beat a man with a baseball bat before, so they got kind of left.
Now the doc is. Did you see his face? The doc got scared.
No. I think here's what
Dr. Golston, please guide us back, Dr. G. Guide us back.
I think the common ground here is that action requires counteractions.
Absolutely.
So the key actions don't respond to words. Sometimes they do, but rarely. It requires a counteraction. So the key is, what is the most effective counteraction that leaves the least negative lingering effects later on? So I think what Jeff gave was just a great example of a counteraction about the trash thing that I think was just perfect. So the key is, I think what we're going to debate over is, what is are there limits to what that counteraction
Where is
can
that
be?
line?
Where is that line? And I think Jeff makes a good point. There's different cultures. I mean, different cultures respond to different things. Like the example
bones
I said.
breaking.
Yeah, bones
that's
breaking,
the
hard
line.
tissue damage.
Right.
Believe in marks that won't go away, like extension cord. If you ever had ass with an extension cord.
Or a racing track.
Oh, a Hot Wheel track?
Hot Wheel track.
I didn't even want Hot Wheels.
I want to ask Dr. John, how does a parent, or I'll ask Jeff, how does a parent figure out what that counteraction is? Are there any tips about that? Because a lot of times, they don't. Their counteraction is too weak. It's underkill. It's too much. It's overkill and abusive. Mm-hmm. So any
that's
tips?
What I was saying, Dr. Golden. That's what I was saying before. Is that too many parents don't hit bad pun. Don't hit the discipline to the core of what's going to hurt that child. What are you going to do to them really feel? In Jeff's example, like we talked about throwing the garbage on the bed, is a good one where, that Eric is going to feel that. He said an important part of the story. He's a neat freak. Eric, neat freak. So Jeff intuitively knew that by doing that, that's going to totally freak Eric out, and he's going to remember that, take out that garbage because here's the consequences. That's a good, powerful way to be a parent. And, it kind of contradicts some of the other things that Jeff was saying.
Which one?
Which
thing?
Yeah.
Which thing did it contradict?
About smacking kids. And
I never said I smacked one of my children.
To me, you don't have to do that. It sounds like you're a guy that doesn't have to do that. So why go there? That you can be respected and powerful to
I think
your
what
children.
Jeff is saying is he sets the tone early so that he doesn't have to use the same method to reinforce later. So once you set the tone, then there's that anticipation from the kid that I might get a spanking. Now I don't have to, I won't do it because I know what's at the end of that tunnel. I'm going to be a little bit more mindful and aware of my dad's presence.
It's called getting your bluff in.
There's something.
Well, better yet, Jeff, if I can just make this point.
Really quickly, you hear the music.
I think what you're talking about is that voice in our head that I better not do this or I'm going to really get it. It doesn't have to translate into a spanking. It's that something terrible is going to happen if I don't do this.
So listen, really quickly.
Many kids are missing that.
Really quickly, Doc, what's your website again? I want to force a lot of people to your site. It's a call to action. Go support Dr. John Mayer. He's not the singer. He's not the singer. What's the website, really quickly, where they can find you?
The website is drjohnmayer.com. So
Dr. John Mayer.
DrJohnMayer.com.
Man, we so appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks so much, Doc.
It was a lot of valuable information.
To do it again.
Absolutely.
Anytime. Thanks again. We got to take a quick break, and when we come back, more information, more clinicians, more guests, more food, more talk, more anger. That's how we parent, with anger. I'll be back at 2.2.
How he has a rap career is beyond me. I don't get it. And he takes his shirt off. Oh my God, he looks like 50 pounds of chewed Tootsie Rolls with his... All right. Now, you are in white fashion. You know white boys always leave the house like they're going to help somebody move. Get pissed and defend the horrible hoes. There are some horrible people. And what you need to do is start policing your own. Okay, in line with today's topic.
Oh, my God.
Fathers out there, black fathers, black involved fathers, this is for you. As much as society may want to try, as much as this show, which I dig, will give you some things to think about, no one is the compass for how you deal with your kids but you. But if you're going to do something, you need to be there. You don't get to do whatever the hell it is you want to do that doesn't involve your kids. And then pop in every now and then and go, you know I'm your daddy, don't you? I'm going to whoop your ass. That's not the way it's supposed to work. You have to be in your children's life 360 full circle. But as far as being told what you're doing is wrong and how what you're doing isn't making any sense, you got to weigh that against results. For me, the proof is in the pudding. The proof is just right, the handwriting's on the wall. I have many friends who are no longer with us purely because they did not have a father to fear and respect. You need to be that dude. Be the dude that somebody fears and respects.
Wow, that's a good point. Good. The food.
Now I got to get back. That's why the rant was so short. I didn't even really give a damn. I got to. Oh my God.
Provecho Grill in Sun City. It is retarded. I need a crash helmet on right now.
That's hilarious.
I'm telling you.
This food.
It's unbelievable.
I done had Mexican food everywhere. This is Mexico.
California is Mexico. Christ.
This is all that you don't eat, you're going to want to roll around naked in. That's how good this food is. This food is, oh my God.
Now I know Taco Bell been lying all this time. That ain't Mexican food.
Bamboozle.
What the hell?
Let it straight.
Wow. What is this stuff?
I don't. Provecho Grill, 268, or it's 26862. What is that? Cherry Hills Boulevard, Sun City, California.
Where is Sun City?
It's in West Hell. Dante lives there. Dante's Inferno.
Right. Oh, I tell you.
Christ, they live far, but they came all the way out here to support the show. Provecho.
You need to put one of these in L.A., Mr. Provecho. Because
this is incredible.
Let's go to break so I can get a second right now.
Christ alive. I mean, we got to go to a caller because the damn food's so good. Roman, line 2, tell us about your parenting style. Has whooping ass straightened your kids out? Talk to me, brother.
As far as being an uncle, no children, I've learned that from my parents, I had to learn to use not just violence, but psychology. I had to learn that, using myself as an example, I was a habitual line stepper. And being that my father and my mother were both crazy, but they were a reasonable amount of crazy. They basically
a reasonable amount. I like that.
They talked to me before, during, and after the UW.
During?
Yes, during.
Tell us how they talk.
Your ass.
Not to touch my porno stash. You little nasty niglet. Okay, go ahead, finish.
Yeah, they ran the whole gamut. They used extension cords, shoes, belts, paddles, everything. But
give me the stove door handle. Give me the stove door handle. I'm sorry. Go
ahead. Everything. But when it came to it, it's like a lot of times, aside from all the whoopings and everything and being talked to during and after, they took away the things we used to have as far as fun. So we had to earn those things back.
Right.
And then later on, they showed us, it's like, the reason why I'm hard on you is because of how the world is. You as a young black man, they're a lot harder than you than on us.
But man, this is Roman, right? Roman?
Yes, sir.
This is, Doc, look into this very deeply here. And Jeff, you too.
Yes, sir.
Because as a black man raised by a single mother, I understand exactly where he's coming from. But let's listen to this notion, this concept. You spoke on it earlier. As black men, we're being taught, as we're raised up, we're being taught how to survive.
Yes.
When you made the distinction where whites and other people of affluence are being taught to live, how to thrive, right? We're being taught to survive. And I think that coping mechanism, being taught to survive, is really damaging on the psyche of black men. Can you go into that thought a little deeper, Doc?
Yeah, sure, because, the greatest negative feedback loop for our kids is when they think that anything they do won't change the outcome of their life. When a child thinks that no matter what they do, they are destined to do no better than survive, it makes it really difficult for them to sustain trying something.
Wow.
And so when you're on a survival mechanism, there's a part of you that thinks, why bother? I can just be angry or just give up. Whereas thriving, it means, wow, there's a possibility of a future that's better than my present. And so I think I think when you're just focused on survival, that's better than not surviving. But I think it's a different message. Something else I want to say, which is very Whitey Locks-ish.
Go ahead.
When I was listening to Jeff and Dr. John Mayer and listening to Black versus White and listening to Jeff versus me, one of the things that I realize is you can be. One of the things that I think white people do too much of, and Democrats do too much of, is they tend to be explanatory instead of declarative.
Go in.
Wow.
Yes, go.
You got to repeat that.
It was the Declaration of Independence. It wasn't the explanation of independence. Being explanatory is weak. I think what I hear about Jeff's authority is he makes a declaration, and a declaration is, this is what I stand for, this is what I won't stand for, and it backs it with full power. I think sometimes white parents, and the Democrats, by the way, tend to want to explain, and I think it's a weaker position. Right. So step back, know what you stand for, know what you'll stand up for, and know what you'll stand up against, and make that stand.
You know what's so beautiful about all of this? Like, when I deal with, like, my youngest son, I was with him over the weekend, and...
How old is he?
He's 12, right? He'll be 13 later on this year, towards the end of the year. And what's really cold is when I'm able to listen to my older children speak to him about me. My son, my oldest son, the young lion, basically told him, he said, listen, Dad is simple. If you pay attention while he's talking to you, right, you're good. If you're not paying attention, he's going to let you know. And then if he asks you to do something, you're better off doing it right when he asks you. Because if there's a delay, he's going to respond. He said, now, one thing about Dad is you got to get him somewhere before you get the lightning from him. You got to like fall through. There are a couple of steps. But if you don't know what the steps are, my oldest son was telling him, Dad is simple. He ain't gonna get you until you've fallen a couple of times at something he told you to do over and over and over again. My daughter sees it totally different. My daughter goes, everything with dad is respect. And it's hard sometimes, and she'll tell the truth, it's hard sometimes to find out what he respects and what he sees as disrespectful. But once you figure that out, I'm listening to them talk to my youngest. Like, once you figure it out, then you good with dad. Once you find out what offends him, you're good with dad. And I think as parents, what happens is, especially black parents, this is what I recognize from my mother. She would bring the frustration of her life home. You see? So if shit is out of order in the home, the frustration of what she had to go through out in the world it amplifies that whooping.
This is
you understand?
Why, yes, sir. This is why I am happy to be in the balance that I am now. I don't think that spankings, actual physical spankings, should be given out by women. In my opinion, I don't think that's their place. That's not your place. It's possible you can make a grilled cheese with an iron, but that's not its purpose.
It might be good too.
Yeah, I mean, they taste good. You do it in prison. I've seen my uncle came home and made us grilled cheese with just iron steam. It was just really good, but that's not. We have an oven. For
the
that.
Dry cleaning chef.
Yes, we have an oven for that. You don't have to do that no more, right? You stupid. This is the way it works in my house. My wife's word is first. My word is final.
Right.
Simple as that. My wife, come outside. All right, y'all making a little bit too much noise. Get the popsicle wrappers up off the ground. Don't have the sticks around. I'm telling you. She come tell me about it. All right, everybody, inside for 3 days, no more popsicles for the summer. And clean up the whole outside, everything.
Right.
Pick up everything off the ground that does not grow. And if you have a problem with that, we can take it to the bedroom.
Wow.
That's the way it is supposed to work.
That's how it works, though. That's how it works. I mean, same with my kid. You know, my kids, where their mother will say, "Hey, man, they're not listening. I need you to."
And then here we come, and now ain't no evaluating.
They're not listening.
There's no chit chat. There's
Right.
no back and forth. Your mama said this, and I
Right.
know your mama.
Right.
I know she didn't talk 5-6 times. I'm not here to talk.
But this is why I think the way we set up this show is very important, because I think, and this is me, I think the black community, we need to upgrade our relationship skills, period.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times we'll take an old method that we think works, but we're not really paying attention to some of that damage that happens from it. So, like you saw that video, there's no philosophy connected to the video of that girl getting her ass whooped by her dad.
None.
Where's the philosophical learning from that? That's just a traumatic situation that she's going to remember for the rest of her life, that she may turn into a parenting tool later on. To her, well, that straightened me out.
That's what you do.
Right. So listen, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, more guests, more callers on the line. I love it. It's a crazy show. Sparing the rod. Let's whoop some ass. I'll be back.
I don't care if the blood...
Get Allison out of the room. Get over here. Bend over that bed.
Dad?
Bend over that bed. Bend over the bed. Bend over the bed. Bend over the bed. I'm going to keep beating your legs. Bend over the bed. Stand up.
No.
Stand up. Bend over the bed. Bend over the fucking bed. Come here. Bend over like I said, damn it. Get up and bend over the fucking bed. Lay down, I'll spank you in your fucking face. Roll over. Get on your fucking face. She told you to take that fucking thing off the computer?
Here. You turn over. One time, you get over on your stomach and you let me spank you on the butt.
Give her some more.
No. You turn over, I'm going to spank on your butt. You turn over like a 16-year-old and take it like a grown woman. Turn over.
She won't. She's disobedient.
No.
Give it to me.
No.
Give it to me.
Turn over.
I'll go get her.
Turn over. Get on your butt now. all the way on your stomach. Thank you.
I never got my lick in on her. Get on your fucking stomach on the bed, now. Get on the stomach or I'm going to start beating you again.
Get on your stomach.
Get on your stomach, I said. Get on your
Get on
stomach.
your stomach. Get on your goddamn stomach.
Get on your stomach.
Get on your stomach. That's it. You got it.
Beat you into submission. You want to put some more computer games on? You want some more?
Well, there it is. You do know white folks invented, the whoopings, because that's where we got it from. We got it from y'all.
Wow.
And there it is, perfected.
Man, do you just see how the generational shit just gets passed down? This is violence. Let's just be real. Listen, I'm an advocate for whooping, right?
Yeah.
But let me just say this. If you still whooping by 16...
Yeah, you done something. Yeah,
it's off. This shit is off.
No.
And then you can see the bullshit programming in that family.
Yeah.
I'm going to beat you into submission. Right? That's religion.
16?
That's Jesus. That's religion. That's the Bible. Right? People misconstrue what it actually means. Discipline, like for instance, if you see little young kids in China learning Kung Fu,
yeah,
the Sifu or the master may swat them with a bamboo stick.
Absolutely.
But it's only to correct them. It's not belligerent violence. I'm trying to beat the shit out of you. Nope, that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
No, your foot's supposed to be inside, not outside. Whack up.
Mm-hmm.
So then the next time they do it, they understand, oh, the foot is supposed to be inside, not outside.
Whack up.
There's a difference.
Yeah, but that's controlled punishment as opposed to over the top. An issue I want to bring up for the two of you. You are two of the most articulate people I know. What about people who don't know how to use their words to discipline?
You just saw the video of that right
there. No. But you guys have a vocabulary that's clear. When you talk, you're very specific and you're declarative.
Yes.
There are a lot of people, they don't have the words, and so they resort to
I can tell you about a man like that. His name was Willie Howard Cottle. He was my grandfather.
Willie Howard Cottle.
Willie Howard. I'm going to try to talk about him without crying.
I can show you better than I can tell you.
That's a man. That's a man. A man's man. Kind of man cut his thumb off at work and put it in his lunchbox, take it home. His wife sew it on. He'd be back next day. That dude.
It's going to be dead, but it'll be sold back on.
It'll be sold back on. He can hold shit with it. My grandfather only had a 9th grade education from the 40s. But this dude was crystal clear in what it took to get on the wrong side of him. It's what has been lost is where a spanking has its place. It's like fire. Fire has a place, okay? And it's not everywhere. Fire everywhere is a firestorm. No, that is horrible. I know kids that grew up in that. That's not what
they can't wait to kill their parents.
They can't wait to kill them.
That's they're going to find a way out of there. Okay. Or they can't wait to escape.
At some point on their day planner, wash car, clean garage, kill mama now.
Kill mama now.
Kill mama now. Okay? I'm not saying that. You guys are giving spankings a black eye.
Yeah.
You really are. They have a place. And I've seen it work. I've seen it when it's applied correctly. I've seen it work.
Right.
Remember, I think it was last week or the week before, one of the toolbox tips, I said 3 strikes and you're in. Remember I said, when you're all heated up about something, think about the first thing you want to do. Don't do it. Take a deep breath.
Right.
And that's all about kind of defending yourself in the moment or whatever. Then strike 2 is take a deep breath, think about what you want to do. Don't do that, because that's about retaliating. So what we're seeing here is retaliation. And the key is get to step 3, take a deep breath. What is it you want to do? And that's more about a solution. So we don't see solutions here. What we see is knee-jerk reactions from reptilian brain. We're not
at the frontal lobe.
The prefrontal cortex is nowhere to be found.
No.
And what you're seeing is, exactly what Jeff was saying is when that reptile snaps at that kid's going to come looking for that grown reptile.
Exactly. Ishmael, you're on the line. You want to talk to us about ass whoopings. Did you get them?
Yes.
Do you give them out? And do they work? Go deeper.
Well, my philosophy on it is that from 0 to 7, I'm really trying to play with my kids more than anything, teaching them. But in playing, you're teaching them rules. Mm-hmm. So they're getting rules. But then from 7 to 14, the discipline normally comes in, where there are consequences for you breaking the rules. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily have to be a spanking, but it could come to that. Mm-hmm. And then from 14 to 21, I try to be more of their ally, where I'm working with them, and I'm trying to teach them from everything that they've learned.
That's good stuff.
That is great information.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
That's good stuff.
That's something I agree with, too.
I had to stretch them spankings back a little further, though.
Yeah, and it's going to vary.
About 18 months.
Kids, you may have to start at 6 years old, or you may have to start at 8 or 6. They may go to 16.
What do you think, the caller? Ishmael? What do you think is the optimum age to start whooping that ass? Tanning time.
Like I say, from 7 to 14, and like I say, even if you've done it, if you're in your child's life, even if you do have to whoop, like my son, I say, man, when I first gave him a whooping, I said, all right, man, I told you too many times, I'm going to whoop your tail. So he's scared. I said, get over there, bend over, I'm going to whoop you. So I pull out something. I said, haven't I told you about doing this? And he looks at me, and I got a peacock feather in my hand. But I'm talking to him as if I'm whooping him hard. And he understood that, man, this is, I need to straighten up. He's giving me a chance.
That sounds like some Showtime soft porn.
Thanks for the call, Ish. I appreciate it.
I'm a little different. I started 18 months. Right? If I go, and you can go, I'm not going to do this. And then right after you hear that, you go to start. Oh, you're going to get a tanning right there.
Yeah, I got little boy. I got boys.
7? I got boys, dude.
Yeah.
You going to start whooping a boy at 7?
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. You remember the baby when you say, especially the boy energy.
Yeah.
You go, hey. He recognizes your tone. He recognizes dad energy over mom energy, right? So when my son was young, he mimicked everything I did. So I'm watching him, right? I'm watching him, and he's doing certain things that he ain't supposed to do. I go, hey. Oh, that's a different kind of energy.
No.
No was always, no. He stopped. Mm-hmm. With the mother, I noticed he continues.
Yeah.
He'll stop for a second, but then he'll look around. And then he doesn't see me, and he'll continue. And then I say,
Yeah.
And then he stops. So there's an energy there, I think, from the father that kind of reinforces the mother. And if you don't have the backup, it might, fall through the cracks somewhere.
Here's mama's job. Here's this way your mama's job's supposed to go. Baby, now I know I told you should have done what I said, so I didn't have to tell your father. Okay, your daddy a little crazy. Now, here's a little potato. Put that on your eye. Here's some cookies.
What?
Do what your daddy say do. That's her energy supposed to be.
Right.
By the time it get to daddy.
What do you have? What do you have?
Okay. Because the doctor has expressed the desire to get to know us better and explain things and be able to deal with us better.
He wants to understand us better.
This is the Jeff Brown ghetto word of the day. Those of you who can see it probably know what it is already.
I know what it is.
You know what it is. We're going to give the doctor a stab at it. Lukeeds. What does that say?
Just read it, Doc.
Just read it.
Luckieds.
Okay, very close, but the U is long.
Lukeeds.
Now I want you to think, and when we come back to break, I want you to try to use it in a sentence. I'll use it in a sentence.
When we come back,
we're going to show how ignorant this white guy is.
Team Radio V, Radio and TV. The So What Morning Show is on fire. We talking about whooping kids' ass. We'll be back with the special ghetto word of the day for Dr. Goldston. Holla!
Yes. over there now.
Now that's hard to watch, because that's just abuse.
Huh, motherfucker, is what he said.
Yeah,
Video
swear
court.
words, and honestly, you can tell it's abuse because he's only using one hand. That's not a fair cardio workout.
Listen, today's topic is sparing the rod, really spoiling the child. A deep look into corporal punishment at the crib. Is it domestic violence? Or is it necessary for setting kids on the right path? I don't know. 855-878-4652. We have another doctor specialist on the line right now.
Doctor. Not yet.
Oh, not yet. Sorry.
And we have the Jeff Brown rule.
So we got another caller on the line for sure. Let's bring in another caller and get their opinion on the ass beats. Talk to me. Did you get your ass beat? And did it help you any? Caller?
Hi, how are you?
Hey, how are you? Who is this?
Good, good. My name is Jessica, and I'm actually a behavior specialist. I work in New York City as a behavior analyst with children who have extreme behaviors to the point that they cannot be in New York City public schools.
Wow. Wow.
And I have done some pretty extensive research on child behavior. And I just, was hoping to call in and share something from, I guess, a little bit more of a research and psychological perspective.
Please go deeper
into this discussion. So, one of the things I can tell you the most is I see a lot of things. I see a lot of kids misbehaving, a lot of, unnecessary things going on. And my gut reaction is sometimes just, that child just needs a good slap. But the truth is that, psychology doesn't really back that up. I am a Christian, and, I've read in Proverbs to spare the child, spare the rod, spoil the child. And I think what it really comes down to is whether or not you're looking for a long-term or a short-term perspective.
Tired of hearing
So
from
for
ugly
sure,
doctors.
From a short-term perspective, if you want to get immediate compliance, corporal punishment works. Corporal punishment will actually get an immediate compliance. But there are actually 10 behaviors that have been identified as kind of, if you want to say, simply, that go with that. Or, inadvertent treatment effects is what we call them in psychology. So a lot of those things are like guilt, aggression, antisocial behaviors, and really a lot of hatred and resentment towards parents that can actually go all the way to later in life. So from a behavioral perspective, when we think about punishment, it doesn't really work in the long term. Now, not every child is necessarily going to exhibit those behaviors, but the American Psychological Association did do a study in 2002 was a meta-analysis of a ton of research, years of research, and what they were able to really put is, you know what, if you punish your child physically, corporal punishment, it might get to you what you want, but in the long run, it's not actually good for your kid.
Wow, that's interesting.
Well,
that's interesting.
So what are some solutions? Thank you for the input, and but what are some of the alternatives?
You know what, I'm so glad that you asked that question, because that's a lot of things that people ask. We have something called reinforcement. And I'm a behavioral psychologist. We use reinforcement. Ethically, reinforcement must always be used before punishment. Now, here's the difference between reinforcement and punishment. In punishment, you're looking at decreasing a behavior. But in reinforcement, you're looking at increasing a behavior. So that might not make sense, right? You might tell me, well, why would I want to increase the behavior if my child is acting out? Well, the truth is that whatever your child is acting out, they're trying to do something, trying to accomplish something. If they're crying because they want to get what they want, well, rather than punishing the crying behavior, what you do want to do is reinforce, or you want to promote a more appropriate way to get what they want.
Interesting.
So, let's say you have a toddler who's sitting at the bottom of your refrigerator and crying because they want a cookie. Well, what you want to really do is you don't want to punish them for crying. You want to teach them the right way to ask for it. Maybe it's, having them, you want to give them that cookie contingent upon making their bed or doing the dishes or helping you set the table.
You got a toddler making the bed?
Dinner.
But Jennifer, let me ask you this question. If you're whooping a kid, say you start off at Jeff Brown's preliminary age, Jessica, sorry. say you start off at Jeff Brown's age, which is 18 months.
18 months.
If you're whooping a kid from 18 months to 16 years, if you've been whooping a kid for 15 years, wouldn't that tell you, wouldn't the fact that you still got to whoop that kid tell you that whooping him is not working?
It's not working.
Absolutely.
And then the other problem is that only works until a child is big enough to be able to fight back.
Uh-oh.
And then once you do that, you've lost all control, you've lost all respect, and there's nothing that you can do to get that
depends on your skills.
No, but she's right because hey, some mothers have to, especially single mothers, African American specifically, particularly, have to keep raising the whooping ante for the young boys that they're raising.
Because they never shouldn't have been done in the first place.
Right, because at some point, if there's no philosophy backing the ass whooping, like if there's no, real ideological understanding for this child, like, okay, I understand why I'm being whooped. The mother isn't whooping me out of frustration, anger, because she mad at my daddy or mad that her boyfriend quit her.
That I can see, obviously.
Right. All of that stuff is not present. Dude, at the end of the day, a kid can get his ass beat so much that the woman has to now say, "Oh, I gotta
hit him with the car.
I gotta hit him with something else
in order to get." Another question for you: what happens when your kid that you hit, when he goes to school and he hit another kid because he doesn't like what that kid did to him? Because what happens is what you're teaching your child when you're hitting your child is, if someone does something that you don't like, it is okay to put your hand on that person. Right,
Jessica? Would you like that question answered?
Absolutely.
Okay. All my sons were put in martial arts and boxing because I myself did those things. My children are taught never, ever to initiate physical contact. I am not initiating physical contact when you get it. You are. I tell my kids, I don't pick the place where you get your ass whooped. You do. If you act a fool right here in Rouse, then guess what? I'm going to rope off aisle 9 and sell tickets for people to watch me whoop your ass. Now, what it sounds like to me today is everybody is discussing all the wrong ways to spank children. All the wrong ages, all the wrong times, all the wrong energies, and all of you are right about that. Where you are wrong is in saying that spankings are ineffective. Saying spankings are ineffective is like saying a Snicker is ineffective at making me full. You wrong. It's ineffective. It may not be what I should put my diet around. No, but is it effective? Absolutely.
It'll get you through.
It'll get you through. And I tell you something.
I do agree with you in that. And what I was saying is that you need to look at the long term versus the short term. One of the effects of spanking is immediate compliance. Immediately, it will get you what you want. However,
long term,
in many cases, there can be inadvertent consequences as a result.
So you're saying spanking,
people don't realize
Jessica, in a nutshell, because it's radio, we can't live on filibusters. You're saying, in a nutshell, spanking has the effect of parental Alzheimer's. It's the discipline of Alzheimer's, or it's an Alzheimer type discipline. The short-term effects is you get what you want, but the long-term effects is that kid is going to remember, that kid's going to resent, that kid's going to have issues or angers. That's what she's saying.
Well, I can't agree with that part, because you're talking about spankings put the wrong way. Spankings done the wrong way. My grandmama used to tear my ass up, and I love that woman. I wish she was still here.
Jessica, where can they find you? What's your website? I want to send people to your website. I want people to investigate you and connect with you. Where can they find you?
And she's fine.
My website is toxic2exotic.com.
Toxic2exotic.com.
What does that have to do with behavioral stuff?
Yeah, that was kind of sexy, little website. What we got going here?
That's her night job.
Speaking of that, Jessica, I want to take my hat off to you for, oh my God, achieving your psychology degrees, because it must have been harder for you because of how attractive you are. You have more distractions. I say that ugly people always do better in life because they don't have nobody to distract them.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for reaching out, and we'd love to have you back soon.
I got a solution I want to throw in the mix.
Go ahead, Doc. Go ahead.
Okay, I think this. You see it in all these old movies about education. Something up until the 50s they used to do with kids is they would say, "Go stand in the corner." And I think there's a certain wisdom to that, because you break the engagement, because as long as it's eye to eye, it can escalate. But go stand in the corner. I don't know what the equivalent would be, but it lets things calm down. It lets that kid have their imagination. Oh, my God, what's going to happen after that? You let their imagination whoop them, and then after you both calm down, you might be able to say, do you know why I sent you into the corner? Because what you really want them to understand is why they are in the corner, and then you teach them, and then you give them a consequence or a punishment. Now, you do understand that we're going to have to take something away to make this lesson stick, but that was around for decades. Go stand in the corner. They used to do that. I don't know if they do that still in school, but I think there's some wisdom in that.
You know what? That's a great point. Do you think, check this question out, everybody. Do you think gang violence would be as high? Do you think the dropout rate would be as high? Do you think Columbine would have happened? Do you think all of this ratchet culture that's happening in our community, do you think any of that would be in play if teachers were still allowed to spank ass at school?
I think it still would.
855-878-4652. We have another doctor on the line here. I mean, they just keep coming in. But
doctors backed up like LAX, man.
You feel me?
Trying to land.
Hey, this show is important. We want to see if people are beating the shit out of the kids or if they're raising them with a firm hand. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we have Dr. Frank Lavaccio on the phone right now. Frank?
Yeah, that was pretty close. It's Bavacqua.
Bavacqua?
Yeah.
Well, my producer spelled your name wrong, Baby Teen Wolf. But he's all right. He's only 25. He may very well be in need of a spanking himself.
But he may like it.
Wow. And the doc. Okay, here we go. Frank, talk to us about, the thin line that separates disciplining and abuse. When is it over the line? Go deeper.
Well, I think the biggest thing is that any physical aggression can be considered abuse at all. And I think you just raised a great point about your producer. Oh, he made a mistake. Maybe he needs a whooping. That doesn't actually happen in life. The job of parenting is to prepare kids for life. And the way we do that is to teach them natural consequences. And in your job, if you mess up, you don't get beat, you get fired.
You've never been arrested, huh?
I'm sorry?
You've never been arrested, huh?
I have not.
Okay, keep going.
And that's the Jeff Brown side, just to let you know that there's a cultural difference. Yeah. Finish, Dr. Frank.
You ain't never had a police car flip a U-turn because you drive a BMW M5 and you black. You ain't never had that, have you? I have, but go ahead.
Who'd you steal from?
But I think the same... I think the same principle can apply in terms of, speeding tickets. A speeding ticket is a form of punishment, but if you know where the speed traps are, you know just to slow down where the speed traps are. That doesn't make you a better driver overall.
So what Jeff is saying is, it is better to get your ass beat at home and then to get your ass beat in life.
Yeah, switching's better than nightsticks.
He said a switch is better than a nightstick, especially for the black experience.
Yeah, see, that's
we need solutions that
could a black
make
doctor
sense.
call in, please? I need a black male doctor. Okay.
No, you have the doctors you have, and you'll respect Dr. Bavaccio. How do I say it again?
Bavacqua. I don't disrespect what you're saying, but it sounds like you are a French chef trying to school me on how to make an enchilada, and I can't pretend. I can't nod my head and sit here when you say that a physical consequence does not follow misbehaving socially.
Let me do this. Dr. Phil said something about defining what your child's currency is. Woo. In other words, what matters to the kid can be used as a disciplinary tool, right? Now, and Dr. Frank, you can build with me on this here. What I find is when certain parents parent their children and use these tools, say, like for instance, I told my son's mother, I said, you cannot incentivize time with the boy's family. Right? So you can incentivize, say, the video game. If you that's your currency, that video game. Right. You don't get to play that video game unless I see this grade improve. Or unless I see but don't say you don't get to see your dad or your brothers and sisters if you don't do this work.
That's horrible.
Do you understand what I mean? So let's go into that. Let's define what the kid's currency is so we can give tips on better parenting.
If you don't pay your parking ticket, I'm going to take your house. That's wrong.
We're about to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to wrap it up. We love Dr. Frank. Stay on. We'll be back with you in a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, the Zoe What Morning Show has returned, and it's final thought time. Not enough time. We're going to do another one of these.
That's a great idea.
Really, really soon, a part 2. I think it's important. Let me just say this. You can't beat or whoop the flaws you see in yourself out of your children. I think a lot of times parents see something in their child, and in their way, they're trying to whoop them in the right direction so they won't do what they did. They see that in the kid. A lot of times that happens, and you can't whoop your flaws out of your children. At the end of the day,
That's good.
You can't do that. And what I see from the majority of black parenting, not all, because there's some really great parents out there, really. And there's no absolutes in any situation. So this isn't to all of the great parents out there. But I feel sometimes that black parenting centers on violence and wisdom. If you don't take heed to my insight or wisdom, you're going to feel a certain level of violence from me. I've been seeing it my whole life. When my mother told my sister to go outside and pick 3 of the sturdiest, longest, whippiest switches and braid them together. Right? Braid those switches together for that ass. Now, did it change who I was? Not really. I can be honest. I was always a free thinker. I was always one who wanted to think outside the box. You could say I was mannish and ornery or whatever. But what I've learned from that entire situation was the younger your kids are, the more control you're in. You're a dictator. You dictate what they eat, when they go to bed, what they do, what they read, all of that. But as they get older and become more centered in the identity of what it means to be themselves, you have to relinquish being the dictator and become the mentor. The one thing that I am so pleased about my children is that they respect me. Like I can sense I don't want to disappoint my dad.
Absolutely.
Right? I can sense that in my kids. Like, don't tell dad about this D. That's what my daughter did. She'll do things like, Mom, could you sign this on her way to school? And Mom's like, well, what is this? Oh, you got a C minus? Well, what? You just was with your dad. Why didn't you? Right? Because there's a certain, I don't want to feel his disappointment. To me, that lets me know I'm doing the right thing. You understand? With my oldest son, you're about to pick a college, right? You're about to choose a college. You can't choose a college the way you choose a cell phone, right? You can't choose a college the way you choose tennis shoes. So now, me mentoring him, he's looking at the college different. How does it fit me? How do I fit into that environment? I'm like when I told him when he was going to high school, I said, this high school is a society, a culture of its own. And when you get here, you have to fight to remain you inside this society. That's how you got to do in the real world. So if you're not a mentor and you're just a dictator, you're going to lose the file and rank of your soldiers, which are your children. At some point, they're going to be like, I don't want to fight for you no more. I don't want to respect you because there's nothing behind your violence but anger, but frustration. Does that mean don't whoop your kids? No, it means you have to find a balance in everything. Most people don't have that balance, especially if you coming home and you just frustrated because the world took a huge crap on you. You tend to crap on that which you have control over. Typically, that's your kids, right? We've got to learn how to challenge ourselves in a different way. We can't just whoop and expect them to change. They're not going to change. They're going to take that ass beating and use it for what it is. I felt your frustration. I felt your anger. I felt your pissivity at the world, at me. So now I'm going to use that as a means to take my pissivity out on the world too. We've got to teach our kids different. If your philosophy is weak, so will your spanking. Because at some point that kid is going to outgrow the whooping. At some point, you'll be like, this shit don't hurt no more. Fuck what you talking about. I'm out. Get your licks in now. Kumo D told me a great story once. Kumo D was like, he got to the point where his mother was just whooping him. And then he got to the point where it was like, shit don't hurt no more. I could beat your ass. That's what he said to his mom. And trashed the house and left. Because he could do that. At some point, your philosophy has got to take over. Most people don't know how that works. I want to say thank you to all of these doctors who are on the show or scheduled to be on the show. Dr. Nancy Buck. We're going to bring this show back. Dr. Dean Tong. He was on Dr. Phil, and he had great points. We're going to do a part 2, and when we do, we're going to bring in all of these specialists so that they can weigh in, because parenting, whether you know it or not, is an intimate relationship. Most people don't understand that. You just obey, be obedient, do what I say. No. That's an intimate relationship. And if you use violence as your key, molder, that's what you're molding. A violent person. So what mornings? You know what we do. It's crazy here at T Radio V. That's Radio NTV. We're here every Monday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You got to reach out to us. Dr. Goulston, where can they find you? Social media.
Heartfelt Leadership. Heartfeltleadership.com.
Heartfeltleadership.com. Hotfoot. Heartfeltleadership.com.
Jeff Brown at GB Funny Style is my Twitter. Jeff Brown Comedian on Facebook. Follow me. I got a bunch of dates coming up.
Ladies and gentlemen, at Zoe Williams on Twitter, at Mr. Zowat on Instagram, and all one word, The Zowat Show on YouTube. Join our YouTube page and see old episodes. It's crazy. Listen, I had a ball. This show is incredible, but it isn't over. Oh, and don't forget, support blackmastery.com. Maybe that'll help you change your parenting style. Get at us. We'll be back next week. Holla.